Hey guys, it's Jen Raza from Art Change of Art, and today I'll be making a card using this week's Sunday sketch from Studio Calico. It's actually an amazing design for incorporating a few different elements that get to be layered together, and I'm also going to try using some pattern paper. It's going to be a lot of fun, so let's get started. Since I'm using a sketch from Studio Calico, I thought it would be best to take out my Studio Calico supplies. So I don't subscribe to their kit, but I really like the stamps that they do with Hero Arts, as well as the paper pads that they have. And in addition, I have some of their new sequins and then some wood veneers. I realized that the only other wood veneers I have are Christmas themed, like they're snowflakes and Christmas trees, so really only the stars or the speech bubbles would work for this card. I decided that I'm going to go with the Atlantic paper pad, and I'm going to be using some awesome dies from Little Inker. These are their balloon dies, and I want to make a birthday card. Now, sadly, out of all of these Studio Calico stamps, I don't have any birthday sentiments, so they'll be going off to the side, and instead, I think I'm going to be using a sentiment from Avery Elle, and this is from their handwritten note set, and they have one that's happy birthday to you, so I'll set that off to the side as well. Okay, now in this sketch there is a small, medium, and a large element. On the example they gave their word bubbles, but I'm going to be using these three balloon dies. And I'm going to just pick some papers out of the paper pack that I think would look really cute on a birthday card. Now, if you've gone to my blog before, you know I don't often use pattern paper, but I usually challenge myself to throw it in there every once in a while, so I'm going to start using some more. So hopefully you'll be seeing that around. Alright, this one's really cute. Let's see. I want to pull some colors out of this one. Maybe I'll use some of this pinkish zigzag. And then maybe I'll introduce one of the blues, because there seems to be a lot of blue in there. Maybe that one. Yeah, I think I'll go with this Waves paper. Now to save time, I'm going to run through in all three papers in one pass of the die cutters. So let's see which balloon should get which print. Alright, I'll do this one right here. And just use a little bit of painter's tape. I've got a nice big roll that I always keep to the side of my work area. So I'll tape that one down here. I'll do the zigzag pattern with the larger balloon and the small print with the small balloon. I think it was Christina Werner, she had mentioned once on a series she did on her blog a while back about pattern paper, that if you're mixing patterns, try to go with a large scale, a medium scale, and a small scale print so that they're not competing with each other. And I think that's really great advice. And then using it from the same paper collection is even easier, because usually the manufacturer already does the work of making sure that they are coordinated. Now, these three wouldn't fit on the plate in one shot, so let me just grab my scissor. I'm just going to roughly cut out each one. And then I can arrange them onto the plate. I use a Grand Caliber as my die cutter. I had won it a few years ago, so that's what I use. And it comes with a base plate that's like this grayish color, and it also comes with an embossing plate. And you would use this plate if you were using a tan embossing mat and you wanted to emboss with it. But what I like to do is use the embossing plate when I'm doing die cutting. It's a little bit thinner, and when I use this plate instead of the gray one, I don't get that weird indentation around the edge of the die cut image. You know, like when it presses down really hard and you kind of get, I don't know, it just doesn't look pretty. It doesn't always happen, but for most dies that aren't too detailed, I just go ahead with the pink plate, and the fact that there's less pressure, I think it makes a nicer looking cut. So just give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and die cut these. Alright, perfect. I think they look really cute together. Now I have a piece of Neenah Solar White cardstock that I cut just smaller than the front of an A2 sized card. So this is going to be 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm just going to play around with the arrangement. I think I'm going to use the sketch pretty literally and have the small balloon up top and then maybe these two overlapping a little bit. I'll just bring it up higher. Yeah, just like that. Now, once I like the placement, I'm just going to go in with a pencil. Okay, that pencil doesn't work. Alright, here we go. And I'm going to mark the bottom of each balloon because I want to draw in some balloon strands or strings. And for this, I'm just going to use a gel pen, just a black pen. Okay, oops. I'm just going to start right above where I put the mark and then come down. Just straight to the bottom. I didn't want to use a ruler for a perfectly straight line, but for some reason, and I'm sorry if you do this, it's just me because I'm weird, I don't like making the really wiggly balloon strands because if a balloon was floating in the air, the strand wouldn't be doing all of that because gravity would just pull it straight down. So I like to have an unevenly straight line for my balloon strings, just because I'm a little weird like that. So pull that one straight down as well as this. And now I'm just going to put these balloons on with a bit of foam tape. I think I only need one piece for the little guy. That should be good. Oh, let's see. I'm thinking, since this one's in front, I'm going to put a double layer of the tape on this balloon. So to do that, I'll cut 2 more pieces approximately the same size. Peel these up and stick down the second layer. Yeah, I think that's much better. All right. Now I think I put them a little bit too far to the left, so I'm just going to cut off this slightest little bit, just trim it on the right hand side with my paper cutter. Much better. And now for that sentiment. So once again, this is the Happy Birthday to You from the handwritten note set from Avery Elle. Well, this like just fits on this block. I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap cardstock that would fit across the front. Let's see. Yeah, I'll use this one. And I'll be using some Hero Arts ink in black. And I often like to do a test stamp before I get to my actual project, so I'm just going to use some scrap paper here. Make sure everything looks good. Ah, excellent. I really love this ink. It's so nice. Sorry, I almost went off the frame there. And now I'm just going to cut straight across. Oh, and I almost forgot about those little stars. Where did I put my stars? The sketch had some little stars around the word bubbles. So I'm just going to use some of these little tiny guys here. And I'll adhere them down with the Tombow Mono Multi-Glue. So today my husband and I are going to an open house. Right now we live in an apartment. And I'm hoping that we can find something so we can move by the summertime. Because I'm a teacher, I'm not sure if you knew that. So this will be my first summer where I don't have grad school. The last 3 summers I was taking grad classes, and now I have my master's, and I'm looking forward to a summer off, and it would be awesome if I could spend that time making a house nice and pretty for us. Okay, so the sentiment's going to go here, and I need to mount this to either a card base or maybe another piece of paper that I can put on top of a card. Now, I wasn't sure how these patterns were going to look together, so I didn't plan for a background yet. So I think I'm just going to experiment with some of the paper that I have, some of the more neutral Studio Calico packs. So I'm going to take a minute to do this, and I'll be right back when I've come to a decision. Alright, I really like this one. It has like this really nice grid pattern. So I'm going to cut this to be exactly the size of the front of the card base. And then I'll adhere it straight to it. You wouldn't believe the mess that I have like right there and all around. I'm going to have to deal with that later. Now for my card base, I think I'm going to use some of this really thick cardstock. I think it was Joni who mentioned it on her blog, and if it wasn't her, I'm sorry. I don't really remember offhand. But that Michaels now carries some really heavy cardstock, and it's actually quite good. I'm surprised, because usually their regular Recollections paper is horrible. But this is 110 pound, and it's actually fantastic for a card base. So you could use a coupon, and it ends up being pretty inexpensive. So if you haven't given it a try, I say you go for it. And I cut it long ways so I can have a top fold card, which means that I will be scoring it at 5.5. And since it is so thick, you have to dig in pretty good with the bone folder. Oops. Now I need to make a decision. Do I want this flat on the card, or do I want it popped up? You know what? I think I want it popped up. There's going to be lots of dimension to this card. Alright, well I just realized that the filming actually cut out a few minutes ago. You didn't really miss much though. All I did is adhere the sentiment strip to the front of the card, and I used 1 layer of foam for most of it, but 2 layers of tape on the side so that it could adhere directly to the front of the card base. So that's the finished card, and I hope you like it, and thanks so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.